Hello crafters and welcome back. We are approaching the end of our tutorial. Oh, it's such a relief. Um, Before I go ahead and start working on the spine and covers, what I like to do, and this is very optional, is to add a piece of black cardstock or even, depending on the album and on the theme, even a piece of designer paper as the first paper and last paper of the album. I don't really like it when you open the album and all you see is this. Like the first, the paper in the album. I like to add an extra sheet before this. So I already did it for the first page, but we're going to work together on the last page, and it's going to be done exactly in the same way. So I'm going to put this on the side, and I'm going to grab the last page, which is this last page, and let's put this on the side for a second because I want to give you the measurements of your paper to cut. So this would be 11 by 12. Yes, 11 by 12. And then on the 12-inch side, do two score lines, one at 11 and 1/8 of an inch, and the other one at 11 and a quarter of an inch. I have already done these score lines offline. The reason why we allow the tiny little gusset is because we got so much going on our pages. But if you, in general, if you want to use this as an option for your albums, if you are very flat, you don't require that gusset, okay? And by very flat, I mean you don't use too many embellishments, but of course, the more embellishments you use, you are going to need a little bit of a gusset if you choose to do this step. So now I'm just going to fold on these score lines. So I just fold it on one score line and I have one more to go. And because this page is exactly the same height as our page, 11 inches, of course, this is not going to fit in that pocket over here. So in order to make it fit, we are going to crop a little bit at the end in an angle all the way down to the score line. So like this. And like this. So see, this is your gusset, and I cropped just all the way to where the gusset starts. So I didn't crop all the way to the end of the gusset, only to the first score line of the gusset. So this will be glued and will sit inside the pocket where we are going to, of course, insert the hinge as well, right here, like that. And this will be for the final page in this case. And like I said, this is optional. So I'm going to apply some wet glue. And no, I'm not going to use super glue. I'm just going to use regular wet glue. Okay, let's see how I'm going to do this so that you can see me and so that I don't do mistakes. So I'm going to stand up for this. Hang on a second, my husband is talking to me. Give me 1 second, guys. Okay, so let's take our piece. Make sure that the long piece faces your last page. And let's put it inside here and let's wish for the best. Offline it worked perfectly fine with the front page. So let's hope we're gonna have the same great results online with you guys. And sorry about that, the headphones hit the camera. It looks like it went in fine, but just to make sure, I'm gonna get a good stick. I'm gonna use the ruler and press with my finger on the outside. Thank you. My husband gave me a piece of paper towel just in case I need to wipe the excess glue. He's very involved in my crafting. Yes, you are. He likes it. He likes it. And I go for advice a lot to him as well. Sometimes two minds are better than one. Now, that sounds kind of weird. In case you guys didn't hear, he said, I like to watch you. Thank you, baby. All right, so this all went well. So we are good to go. Once again, this is absolutely optional. Let's take this out of the way. And I just wanted to show you a piece that I did offline, which is only pertinent to this album because the mother really wanted me to include this in the album. It's a I can't even remember whether or not I already mentioned this. Maybe I did, and now I'm going to be repetitive. This is like a baby diary that she purchased when she had her son 18 years ago. And she wanted me to include this in the album. And the way to do it, I created this special pocket, and which is quite heavy. So just to be on the short side, this will actually get glued on the back cover of the album. So when you calculate the spine, I'll also have to take this into consideration, but I'm going to tell you guys what to take into consideration for your album and what not to take into consideration. Um, to tell you the truth, I did create a tutorial on this. What happened? The video crashed and it's completely gone forever. I don't know why. It saved absolutely weirdly. When I went to it, it was saying it was just showing 1 kilobyte and there was absolutely no content. But since this is not pertinent to your album because this is personal to this album, I decided not to make an extra tutorial. However, if you need to know how to create a pocket like this in case you have something to insert, I'll be more than happy to create a video and to give you guidelines on how to create a pocket for yourself, and which will be added to the shared folder from where you downloaded this video. So once again, I'll be more than happy. But in this case, because this album is due tomorrow, I did not have the time to actually create another tutorial on this, and I really hope you do understand. So now let's move on and let's bring in all of our pages. Okay, so this is the front, the back, and everything else. So the front, so let's find the right pages. Okay, this is it. So this is the time when to calculate the spine of the album. Right now I'm going to measure it as is for you guys, but when I'm going to be working on my spine, I will also have to add this into consideration. Okay, so for the time being, I'm going to put this on the side, and then offline, I'm going to calculate my spine. I'm going to give you the dimensions of your spine right now. So, because this is a very, very bulky album, and in order for those beautiful pop-ups to show and to open properly, you'll need this album to lay as flat as possible. So I decided, and I'm praying and I hope that 3/4 of an inch spacing between the pages will be enough. But I guess you will find out all in the end. Luckily, you guys are not doing this album right now, and but hopefully, you know what? Let's hope for the best. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to measure the height of the album. So now I have all the pages, of course, except for that one, because right now I'm just giving you the measurements for your album. And again, this may differ based on the kind of cardstock you use. Your cardstock may be thinner or thicker, or maybe your designer paper may be thicker or thinner. So right now, I'm just going to give you the dimensions based on what we have here. But of course, you can adjust them according to what you have on your side. So I'm going to put my ruler straight up, and I'm going to see what's the height of all these pages together. And I am getting 2 inches and 3/4. But also keep in mind that maybe on one side of a page you embellished a little bit more than, let's say, on the opposite side. So what I normally do, I go with the ruler from the beginning to the end of the page, and then I'm going to do the same here, okay? And um, whatever number is the higher, that's the number I'm going to use as a start point to calculate the spine. So right now I'm going to start here. So I'm getting 2 inch and 3/4. I'm going along to make sure that in other parts of the album is not thicker than the others. I'm going along. And so far 2 inches and 3/4. I saw it going down a little bit, probably for parts of the pages where there was lesser embellishments. But so far 2 inches and 3/4 was the highest. Now I'm going on the other side as well, just to make sure that I am not. Okay, let's put this down and let's measure 2 inches and 3/4. I can see lowering a little bit. So 2 inches and 3/4 is the highest. So that's the measurements that wins. So what I'm going to do, don't mind these are other calculations here. So we have 2 inches and 3/4. So this is the current height of your spine. But we are not ready yet. We have 4 pages and we need the spacing between the pages. So what we are going to do now, I'm going to just draw for 1, 2, 3, 4. These are our pages, and we need 3¼ inches in between them. So we got 3/4 here, 3/4 here, and 3/4 here, right? So all of this plus this would be the measurement of the spine. So to do so, we are going to use our fancy calculator to quickly see what's the magic number. So I got 3/4 3 times. 3/4 multiplied by 3 equals 2¼ plus our 2 inches and 3/4. 2 inches and 3/4 equals 5 inches. Exactly. So the width of the spine for you, or actually for this album, like I said, it all depends on the thickness of your papers, etc. But without this, so I'm going to calculate offline for my own spine because I don't want to confuse you guys. It's 5 inches, okay? So when we are, and it's going to be, because these pages are 11 inches square, I'm going to keep the chipboard at 12. So it's going to be 5 inches by 12, and then the covers are going to be actually 12 by 12, and I am going to double. So I'm going to use 2 pieces of chipboard for the front cover, 2 pieces of chipboard for the back cover. Both front and back will be 12 by 12, so it will be a total of 4 pieces of 12 by 12. And then for the spine, we are going to use 5 inches by 12, 2 pieces glued together in order to give thickness and resistance, because this is a heavy album. The other change I've decided to make, and this again it's optional, and keep in mind that this should be counted towards the spine of your album if you decide to do so. If you are going to use photo mats in those pockets, then you have to take that into consideration as well and create those photo mats and put here in the pockets, right? I am going to close this. I think my album is too thick right now. And it's of course because of that booklet. If it wasn't for that booklet that I have to insert, I would have used this option to put photo mats in here with more pictures, because I do have more pictures, but I made the mother aware it's impossible to use all of them. And even with the photo mats in here with pictures, I wouldn't have been able to use all the pictures. But I told her, bring me to have a choice. So when you are ready to measure the spine of the album, have everything ready that you know is going to be with the album. That's very, very important. But this is the rule of thumb on how to calculate the width of your spine. Okay, and then the height, it's normally nice to have like half an inch all the way around. So that's the reason why I'm going to use 12 by 12 chipboard. To dress the covers, I actually purchased some faux leather. So I'm not going to use paper. Therefore, I'm going to have a full one piece of faux leather that I'm going to wrap it around it. But if you need to use paper, I know there is paper out there that it's 13 inches wide by like 40 somewhat inches. There are certain sellers out there that have that. They are sold in a roll. So you can purchase that, or you can combine pieces of cardstock in order to meet your needs, in order to dress the covers. But I've used in the past faux leather to dress boxes or to dress albums, and the outcome is beautiful. I would rather do that because I think faux leather is much more resistant than paper, and plus it doesn't crack when you have to fold the covers. I love faux leather. Okay, guys, so in the next video, we are going to talk about the binding we are going to use for this album. I have my own way to do the binding, and I'm going to share that with you. This is the easiest way for me, but once again, if you have another method, use that method to do your binding. What I do here is not set in stone. This is what works for me, and you are more than happy to do whatever works for you. That's very important because you have to be comfortable with the work and the outcome. That's very, very important as a crafter. All right, guys, so see you in the next video. Bye for now.